I have gone under many names over the past several millennia, from the familiar cawing of the birds to a particular pattern in the bubbles of the fish or the howling of the wolves. The humans are now referred to me as Whitewood, so I suppose, to you, I am Whitewood Creek. A creek's birth is difficult to pinpoint. Up until about 70 million years ago, there was a sea here that stretched a larger distance than I will ever see. That was until the uplift happened. About 50 million years ago, the mountains were here. Oh, in those days they were sublime. They scraped the heavens at over 15,000 feet tall and nearly 150 miles from end to end. Snow-capped its reaching peaks, which would glisten back the sun's rays like a million diamonds. Then the rain fell onto the soft soil, and little trickles formed, sweeping through the mountains. Season after season came and went, and we began cutting deeper valleys and stronger riverbeds across the mountainside. The wind came too, and together the wind and I eroded the mountains down to nearly half of what they once were. I like to think, though, that it's better now. Without the wind, without the rivers, Spearfish Canyon doesn't exist. The Needles don't exist, and my personal home in Deadwood Gulch doesn't exist either. Geology gave us the hills, but we, the wind, the rain, the ice, and the rivers, give it character. As I formed, I made friends. First the plants joined me. There were pines and spruce and aspen and pasque flowers and buffalo grasses and many, many more, the descendants of which still line my banks today, and I still supply them with the water, the nourishment that they need. Afterwards, the fish and the insects and the birds came quickly. It was a more limited variety back then. There were only a few species of fish, and they were simple, but they kept me clean. In the summer, the trees wore nests in their hair. Those birds would swoop down to me to tell stories and drink and wash themselves in my water. The American dipper was a cute little bird that was a more common visitor back then. She would tell stories of all the places it had been and were planning to go. The frogs and the turtles were a joy to hear from. They would sing all evening long about their hopes for the future and the days gone by. The water skippers ran along my surface. He was the only one who ever really dared to. The deer liked to drink the cold, clear water I could provide to them. And as I left the mountains, near where I joined the others, heading north to drain out into the bay, the buffalo, and before them the mammoth and the short-faced bear, would relax on my bank to cool off and to get a long drink of water. The rabbits would always scurry to the side and give them a wide breadth. I like offering them rocks and places to hide behind, so that they felt safe as well. A few thousand years ago, I saw my first human. I wasn't Whitewood then, though, see? As people come and go, I get a variety of names. Most notably, I was Minnie. Stories were told about me. Stories that complimented my clearness and my reflectiveness. They said that I held the stars, and I tried my best to be that for them. Because I brought life to humans, they respected me. They honored my age and asked for my permission before drinking the water that I carried to them. They talked about the ceremonies they had for water and the ceremonies the birds held and those of the deer and the buffalo as well. Back then, I still didn't see humans too often. I saw them when they came into the hills and in the places in which I leave it. The other humans came more recently. They came for the hills, or they came for the people that came for the hills. I firmly believe that many of them loved me. They loved my home and my siblings, but like everything new to the area, they changed things. They brought more friends, they brought fish and dogs and cats. It was because of the new ones that I know the trout and the red-eared slider turtles today. They took out some of the fish, they sang songs and laughed and built structures that rivaled the mountains in height, and they were creative in new and interesting ways. But they had this idea of profit, and that idea valued what the hills contained, so they broke it. The sounds were louder than I'd experienced before, and they gave me the waste. There were materials there, things like mercury and cyanide, bound to the other rocks thrown at me in the debris. This waste drove the fish away. The deer stopped coming to visit. Even the water skippers and the abundance of plant life couldn't survive. The clarity that I was once so revered for was gone, and it was destroyed by the same species who recognized my clarity and reflectiveness. My water ran black or brown, and nothing could survive between my banks. Even the humans, they built their cities up so that they didn't have to look at me anymore. You must have understood the extent of your actions, though, because you helped make it better. Waste material stopped being given to me, allowing me to begin healing myself. Several times, waste and debris were removed and scrubbed to help expedite my healing process, and I was still quite unwell for a while. About 30 years ago, though, I decided I was going to be all right. Not that I was then, but that I would continue to heal so long as everyone else did their part. Since then, it seems to get better each day. Each day, more new friends show up. The humans are still making efforts to keep me clean or to make me more clean. Just a couple of years ago, about 140 dump trucks full of debris were hauled out of various locations along my banks. I see new fish, and the humans come to fish in me again. The water skippers are back. The deer stop by to drink at my banks again. Some humans have taken to walking with me as I rush by. It's one of the few ways anymore that I am faster than them. They read me poetry that seems to show how they see me and the wildlife that rely on me. I am photographed and written about, even considered one of the hidden gems of the Black Hills. My waterfalls are cooled over, and the water is now clear enough that I hold the stars again.